Since opening its doors in 1927, downtown Los Angeles' Cecil Hotel has accumulated a grim resume. Over the decades, its halls became a known epicenter for violence, unexplained deaths, and high-profile tragedies. The building even served as an active refuge for serial killers, offering cheap, anonymous rooms for men like Richard Ramirez to retreat to during their active crime sprees. In January 2013, a 21-year-old Canadian college student named Elisa Lam checked in. She was traveling completely alone down the West Coast. Her parents were understandably anxious about her solitary trip. To keep them at ease, Elisa agreed to a strict rule. She would call home every single day to verify she was safe. That routine broke on January 31st. The calls abruptly stopped, and Elisa completely vanished somewhere inside the hotel. A young woman had been swallowed whole by a building already steeped in a dark history, leaving investigators with zero initial leads. Hoping the public might recognize her or provide a missing piece of the timeline, the LAPD released the very last known surveillance footage of Elisa, taken from one of the hotel's elevators. Inside the car, her behavior is frantic. She steps in, immediately punches a column of multiple floor buttons, and then retreats to cower rigidly in the corner. Adding to the tension is a strange mechanical anomaly. Despite her pressing the buttons, the elevator doors stay locked wide open. She repeatedly steps out into the hallway, peering around the frame and twisting her hands and fingers into bizarre, unnatural shapes. Because no one else ever steps into the frame, viewers across the internet quickly concluded she was attempting to hide from and communicate with something completely invisible to the camera. Within hours, those 3 minutes of unexplainable security footage propelled a standard missing persons investigation into a viral obsession. Weeks passed with no sign of Elisa. Then, a disturbing new problem emerged as hotel guests started filing complaints with the front desk. Showers were losing water pressure. A foul smell began wafting from the pipes, and eventually, the water pouring out of the taps turned entirely black. A hotel maintenance worker took the service elevator and climbed up to the foggy rooftop to inspect the building's 4 massive sealed water tanks. Inside one of them, he discovered Elisa Lam's decomposing body floating in the water. For nearly 3 full weeks, hundreds of guests had been unknowingly drinking, brushing their teeth, and bathing in the contaminated water of a makeshift tomb. The discovery immediately forced difficult questions. The rooftop doors were heavily alarmed, and the tank lid was found sealed shut, leaving investigators to figure out how she reached the roof and entered the tank completely undetected. While internet sleuths debated ghosts and murder plots, forensic investigators relied on physical evidence and medical records to trace Elisa's final steps. They found that Elisa had a severe, medically documented history of both bipolar disorder and depression. This animated chart illustrates the core of their toxicology findings. By mapping out her required prescription medications over time, we see a drastic plunge in her system. This sudden chemical imbalance pushed her past a critical risk threshold. This triggered a devastating psychological episode. Driven by intense paranoia, she fled to the roof, climbed into the water tank to hide, and accidentally drowned. There was no paranormal entity stalking her in that hallway. The threat causing her visible terror was entirely internal, generated by her own mind. Toxicology and medical history officially explain her death. The visceral horror of that elevator footage, combined with the grim history of the Cecil Hotel, ensures this tragedy remains locked in internet mythology.